Greetings to you and welcome to today's special podcast. I hope you are doing well. Just as usual, this particular weekend, I thought of sharing something with you once again on meaningful levity. And today we will be discussing actually the dark side of living Africa. Okay, I know this might sound very, very ridiculous to you because you're often bombarded with millions of reasons why you should actually leave Africa. So why would I be telling you about the dark side of leaving Africa? Because I know we are preconditioned to think that the grass is always greener at the other side, and you know, like I said, they keep bombarding us with tons of information on why you cannot make it in Africa. Africa is full of disease and AIDS. Africans are dying of malaria. Nothing really works. The economy is bad. You know, our currencies are depleting and blah, 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 blah. But thanks to people like, let's say, Wadamaya, and many more, right, who are actually trying to uh, narrate the African story from the real African perspective, okay, and regardless of what the world may say about Africa and all of that, so thanks to that, I think things thanks to their effort, people like Wadamaya, I wish I could mention many more, but things are changing gradually, and um, we just have to continue in that direction, okay. But that is not also to say we should just undermine the realities or challenges that we have in Africa. Or I'm not trying to say there is no reason at all to leave Africa. That's not what I'm trying to say. As a matter of fact, as I'm speaking to you, I'm currently in France. Okay, I'm in Europe. I'm not in Africa. So sometimes people might even find it a bit weird, like why would you tell people to stay in Africa when you are abroad? Some people would actually tell you why not come home, and all of that. But I'm gonna take it step by step. I'll actually let you understand that I understand, okay, the pros of actually leaving Africa. Right. First of all, that's what I'm gonna do before we actually come to the cons or the dark side of leaving Africa. So it's not as if I'm trying to deter you from achieving your goals. Maybe if you wish to pursue a career or your career abroad, you know, whatever that you wish to do, if you wish to travel, to explore the world, I'm not against any of these, okay? I'm just trying to throw some light on, certain things, okay? Because it's about time, uh, those of us living abroad, let those home understand the realities of living Africa, okay? And whether or not you should stay in Africa depends on you, right? That depends absolutely on you, you know? So, but it's very, very important that we, those who are abroad, try to share with you the true realities about living here because most people try to just fool you, sorry to say, like they try to portray a kind of life, me included, the truth of the matter is that who would like to portray himself negatively? Most people wouldn't. Okay, so you find out that on the social media, w- people try to wear fake smiles when sometimes they're not really smiling. People try to make it all look rosy living abroad when that isn't really the case. Okay. So, and as a matter of fact, you know, I think it's unwise to just believe in the narrative that Africa is just full of, you know, problems and no opportunities, and the opportunities are just here, or the opportunities are outside, right? It would be unwise to think that, because, and as a matter of fact, if that is your reason for leaving Africa, then you will be disappointed. People who left Africa and came to Europe or went to the US or wherever that they have gone to with the mindset that, okay, they were just trying to escape the problems in Africa for a better life elsewhere, have actually found themselves broken. And some cannot even travel back home if they wish to, because you know they I mean, some are actually broke, far, far, far more broke than even broken than those who are even still living in Africa, right? Some are living on credit and different challenges. So that is to tell you that leaving Africa should not be an escape, right? Even if you want to leave Africa to pursue a career abroad, but you should have the mindset of what of actually um leaving Africa probably for you should have a well-defined motive, okay? But that motive should not be that there is impossible in Africa. That is why you want to leave Africa, okay? Because if that is your motive, then you're still gonna fail abroad, because abroad would also come with its own challenges. And the only thing, I actually see life as an ending problem to solve. Okay, so it's a puzzle that an ending puzzle to solve. You know, of course, there are good times and bad times, but every day, each and every day, brings its own problems, and you should always be willing face the daily challenges that life throws at you, and you should always be willing to strive and become victorious, because that is actually the essence of living. You know, we are often bombarded with different challenges, but we try to turn those challenges into opportunities, all right, and to actually create a better life from what the unfavorable conditions that we find ourselves. So if you have that mindset, regardless of whether you are living in Africa or you are living abroad, you will be able to what? To succeed. And as to whether it's more advantageous staying in Africa or living abroad, maybe by the end of this video, you would be able to decide. Okay. But it's very, very important that I throw some light on the dark side of actually living in Africa. You might think, I mean, as a matter of fact, just know that it is a blessing to be an African, and it is a blessing to live in Africa if you're already living in Africa. And you should understand that Africa has a lot of opportunities, and what of course it has its challenges. So you as an African, you should focus more on how do you improve upon those challenges? How do you create opportunities out of those challenges? How do you rise out of those obstacles? Because it is exactly the same thing that you will have to do even if you are living abroad. I got to learn this recently from Mr. Obing Dako, okay, who has done a lot in terms of, shifting my paradigm and bring drawing my attention to the opportunities that actually lie in Africa. And actually, he did a lot shaping and building my self confidence and love for myself and Africa as a whole, you know. So you could follow him on Facebook, YouTube, wherever. His teachings are very, very powerful and inspiring. And highly, highly recommend you actually listen to Mr. Obin Dako. All right. So with that said, we'll start first of all with the pros. Okay. In other words, the advantages of leaving Africa. And this, I should not say leaving Africa. I should rather say of just traveling. Okay. What are the advantages of traveling? Personally, I cannot say traveling hasn't helped me. Okay. After traveling, I got to discover a lot. Okay. For instance, I got to, understand that, okay, the world is not just, until I left Africa, I did not really know that we had different kinds of races of people, with different cultures, different ways of living, all of that. I didn't know anything like that, So I had the opportunity to live in Morocco, first of all, where I did my bachelor's, moved to France for my master's, and it's just formidable, being able to explore different people, even in Morocco, like I met people from different nationalities here in France, currently in Paris. I meet a lot of different people, be it at work. So to me, that is just one thing that I can never undermine. Okay. That has built me in terms of, just it has broadened my view about the world. Okay. So that is very, very important. Apart from this, coming abroad has also opened a lot of doors for me. Okay, for instance, in terms of employment, okay, in terms of um, what else can I say? In terms of skill-based education, okay. So I have pursued my education abroad. I'm not saying what I've let's say that kind of skill I couldn't have achieved it if I were in Ghana. For instance, like apart from just my career in public health, I could have, of course, I could have done my master's in back home in Ghana. Just that probably would have come at a greater cost, And as a matter of fact, I left Ghana on a scholarship, you know. So if you are also to leave maybe Ghana or Africa to pursue your studies abroad on a scholarship or for any other reason, even if you feel like okay, maybe you want to do a particular course that is not done in Africa, and or probably I mean um you feel like you might have better education abroad, in your field of endeavor, then why not? Especially if it's on a scholarship. Some of us are underprivileged and scholarship is a great way to help us further our education. If I had not gotten this opportunity, I probably wouldn't have been able to, further my education up to the master's level in Africa without living on a scholarship. So, depending on your dreams, I mean, I'm not never going to say, oppose the idea of living abroad to pursue a career or to pursue your education. You know, what else can I say? One other thing that I've enjoyed so far, even when I was in Morocco, as compared to Ghana, for instance, is uh, access to easy access, or should I say, I don't want to say cheap, okay, because even here we do pay for the internet, but the accessibility, like currently, as you can see over right here, I have my Wi-Fi, okay, my Wi-Fi right here with me, that I'm able to browse the internet as much as I want, which wasn't the case in Africa because, as a matter of fact, in Ghana, Wi-Fi was like You hardly even hear of Wi-Fi, even not in a public institution or something, maybe at the university, and that would even be just reserved for the staff. But having the luxury of getting your own Wi-Fi and being able to browse the internet. Thanks to the internet, I've been able to learn a lot of different things, like just setting up a podcast, for instance. Somebody that had no IT background, I've been able to do some of these technical things by just watching videos on YouTube. In Ghana, you cannot like browse the internet freely because you'll be afraid that they'll snatch your data. So you cannot go to YouTube, for instance, in Ghana. So I can just go on and on and on and on and on. And even traveling to, I've been able to learn different languages, right? Today, I'm both of speaking French, which is a plus for me. Okay, being able to speak French allows me to work here, right? And to be even to be the mere uh, fact that being able to speak French enables me to even communicate with people. I mean, other Africans who are not necessarily from an English speaking country in Africa. I'm able to communicate with them and the world at large, Canadians, whatever, that is something, it's a plus. So after leaving Africa, if I'm to go back today, I'm not going to go back the same, right? And of course, in terms of job, the financial opportunities, I mean, should I say the job opportunities here, if you have what it takes, if you have the needed skill, then you always not that is oh you always assured, but uh you always just know that yeah, if I have needed skill, there are more opportunities here, maybe as compared to Ghana or as compared to Africa, because our countries are not industrialized and but that is still an advantage because we are not industrialized means that what there are different industries that can be built from scratch, starting from just the poultry farm to maybe whatever food processing or whatever. I don't know. You know, so that is why I'm saying it depends on how you look at Africa. Okay, if not, Africa is full of opportunities. But until you leave Africa, and even if you leave Africa and you don't have the taste to learn and to actually understand things, you're still gonna stay in ignorance, even if you are living abroad. But most of the time, when people leave Africa, that's when they start to realize that there is a lot, and you probably could have made it even much better if you were in Africa, than where you are currently living abroad. So I can go on and on and on, but this is what what has come to mind when it comes to the the what do you call it, the pros of leaving Africa, right? So this is my personal account. For somebody, it might be different, right? But um, based on what I've just told you, do you think it's worth it? Okay, maybe crossing the Mediterranean Sea, dying in the Libyan desert or wherever, just to make it to Europe or somewhere. Some actually passing through Brazil, Nicaragua, and many other countries to get to America, for instance. Do you think it's really worth it? Risking your life to get there without papers. I came with a student visa, so that's why my story might not even reflect the realities of or the dark side of actually living abroad, because I came with a student visa. So I'm gonna still give you, let's say, I'm still gonna give you an account uh, for the life of a student, how, the challenges, your student job and all of that. I'm going to go through that, the living conditions and all of that. I'm going to do an expose right here on that. But um, my situation is still way more better than somebody that came here, for instance, through the the Mediterranean Ocean or whatever, the Mediterranean Sea, got here without papers. Some actually sleep outside in the cold, even during winter. Some literally beg in the streets just to be able to break bread. So think about it. Is it really worth it? And as a matter of fact, some of these people that are in the streets begging actually had a lot of money. They actually spent thousands of dollars to get themselves in the balloon boat, risk their life. Some actually got drowned, just to get to Europe. And getting to Europe, I don't know whether they knew or they just thought, because we have been brainwashed, they got here only to be begging outside, being homeless, jobless because they don't have papers. Think about that. So it's for this reason that I thought of just, I think many people have been discussing this topic. Like I said, you could listen to Mr. Bing Dako. But I also just thought of, giving my perspectives, being somebody that live abroad, and maybe my personal account and my journey could be an inspiration to you, and a source of encouragement for you to understand that um, sometimes it's not worth it. If you also wish to pursue education abroad like I did, fine, I'm going to encourage you, you know, but don't just get discouraged and don't have the belief that you can only make it if you live abroad. And no, don't have that narrative. you know what I've come to understand is that there are opportunities everywhere. It depends on you, what you want out of life, and whether you are willing or not to pursue what you are looking for. All right. So let me get, I'll try to, I think I've spoken a lot about the, the, the pros. Okay. So right now, I will try to speak about the cons a little bit. Okay. Because like I was saying, most of us, what happens is that, like on the media, for instance, if you go to my social media right now, let me show you, for instance, you'll see some of the things that I post. Okay. Like, I came as a student. Okay. Right. So you would definitely find, for instance, this picture right, right here of me, being in school, you know, and you can actually see that the lecture hall probably might look nicer than maybe I mean, a typical university lecture hall in Ghana, and because we have been brainwashed to hate ourselves and all of that, maybe surrounding with by white people might be something that would be like a dream to live. This is how we have been brainwashed because we hate ourselves and we don't have confidence and believe in ourselves. So we just, we because of this inferiority complex, we would like to be surrounded by, we just this is how we actually think. All right. And finally, maybe after graduation, when I start to work, okay, so though I actually haven't posted this particular picture of me, okay, so but this is me, for instance, at a workplace, and you're like, wow, that is just how it's all about, living abroad. Imagine like living this dream, and maybe I've gone to take a haircut, okay, and I'm gonna bombard you with a picture of me, okay, a picture of me, with fantastic haircut. And you like, meanwhile, in Ghana, you probably could get a better haircut, from a salon at probably a much cheaper price than maybe the haircut that I had to get myself. I was actually wearing my bushy hair for, I don't want to use the term bushy because I really like my hair. And what I mean by bushy is like my, that's how we're taught in school and everything. But what I mean is that I allowed my hair to grow for quite a long time before I recently decided to trim, just to change the style a little bit. Okay, but you should love yourself, love your hair, you know. If you want to wear locks, wear locks. And it's about time that even certain things change in our schools. We should be allowed to, why should we shy away from our hair? Why should we cut our hair? Why should we be obliged? Even our ladies, they cannot keep their natural hair in school. They have to shave like men. All these are things that we need to change about ourselves. And so most of the time, me included, if you go to my profile, you will see these first three pictures that I've shown you so far. And after seeing this, what comes to mind? For instance, uh, I mean, what do the washroom, right? And you may have the impression that I'm living in luxury, which I cannot say. Let's say I'm suffering here. I cannot say that. Of course, I've gone through challenges, and I'm gonna show you that in just a few minutes. Okay, but most people, me included, will always show you the glamour because nobody wants to show. I mean, uh, to show the dark side of their lives. No, most people shy away from that, me included. Okay, everybody wants to paint a picture that they are living well, they are living good, and nobody really wants to suffer. So nobody would like to share something about them struggling, probably washing plates. You know, I'm not saying washing plates, that is actually a good career. And that is where I'm actually going to. Because most of the things that we often refuse to do in Africa are the things that we do here, okay, for a living. So when I just came to France, I did not coming to France, I did not come on a scholarship. So I had to work during the weekend. If you were in Ghana and your parents asked you to go to the farm during the weekend, you'll be grumbling. But you probably have to go to the farm for them to pay your fees. If you were in Ghana and somebody asks you to come and wash plates, go and work in a retirement home, or there are not even retirement homes in Ghana, but just help the aged, even your grandmother, you might be grumbling. And when you come here, what do? You probably might have to change diapers of old people in retirement homes. You probably might have to, do all kinds of things to make a living. Do I consider that as suffering today? No, because as a matter of fact, if I'm in Ghana, I'll be more than willing to do any of these things if as a means of hustling, or even I could even create, let's say, I could even create my own firm in some of these areas where it's actually service to humanity. So it doesn't matter, are you going to farm? Are you going to sweep? Are you going to clean? Are you going to paint? Are you going to be an electrician? Are you going to be a doctor? Are you going to be a teacher? Whatever that you choose to do, that is your way of what? Serving humanity. So the most important thing for us is to always what? Learn how to create value. Add value to ourselves. Okay. Let's add value to ourselves, and let's learn how to create value, because that is the only way to get money. You are paid for value. So it's not just the mere fact of leaving Africa for abroad that is going to make you change your situation, but it's actually what? You creating value. So this is actually the situation. Now, with that said, we're gonna move on to the dark side. Okay, so because all this while I've painted this rosy picture and I've not really talked about anything really dark about living abroad or leaving Africa. Okay, so like I said, I don't even think I'm a good example because I came here as a student, but I've seen people gone through worse. Okay, I've seen people like they've gone through worse as compared to me. I still want to let you understand that even coming as a student, it wasn't rosy. Even whatever that I'll be able to, I will tell you here in this video, still will not be able to tell you, will not give you a real, I mean, 100% account of the realities here. That's why I'm not even against traveling because without traveling, I wouldn't have had all these experiences that I'm sharing with you. But what I want you to understand is that you don't really need to travel to make it, which means tomorrow, if I have to leave here and I'm going back to Ghana or anywhere in Africa, I should go with the belief that I'm going to succeed wherever I choose to settle in Africa. And it should not be a question of, because I'm in Africa, I cannot make it. That's just all I'm trying to say. So let's move on. What are some of the challenges moving here? Okay, so far, I think I've talked about what haven't even talked about any yet, okay, to be honest. So these problems that you are going to face, let's say moving abroad, range from just um the mere weather, okay, the living conditions. For instance, most of us are used to what we are used to the sun shining 24/7 in Africa, okay. Here it's not like that. We have summer, we have winter, we have spring, autumn, whatever. All right. And winter, for instance, is very, very opposite to the weather in Africa. So, for instance, let me show you a picture of me. You can actually see me here with my lips all dried. Okay. Um, okay. So you can see me right here with my lips all dried. But there's also summer where the weather comes back to normal, sometimes even much warmer than the African weathers. Right. So, okay. So you can see me, for instance, typical what do you call it, typical summer, or even in this picture, right? But I am in France, and the weather in France is not really extreme. So imagine people who are in Canada or people who are living in Russia, how the weather would be for them. Will they actually be able to cope? Even here is not easy, right? Because i- here is not really an icy country, if I may say. Just that with time you start to adapt, but this the weather could actually pose a problem for some people, you know but this is okay. I think I've said enough about weather, and now I'll tell you about the realities of the hustle here. Okay, like I was telling you, or if you go to my social media, you'll be seeing pictures like this, right? Very rosy. Now try to what should I say? Just imagine, okay, like try to I don't know how to even say it. Like, let me just show you something. Okay, now imagine showing you this part of my life on social media and never showing you something like this. Okay, this so you see me in the previous picture. Okay, In this particular picture, you see me in what? You actually see me in a very, nice bedroom, as if I don't know how to even describe it, okay? And now just imagine you seeing me. Imagine if I had posted a picture of me actually washing plates, okay? So maybe if I had, okay, I think I actually have a picture of me washing plates, or at least let me see. Um, okay, all right. So just imagine washing plates, being and or let's say serving in a restaurant. Okay. If you were asked to serve in a restaurant in Ghana, you most likely would have been uncomfortable, right? Just imagine graduating from the university and going to work in a restaurant. Most people will frown at that, but that is what I was doing, while schooling, right? I still needed to take my studies serious, but this is what I had to do to pay my bills, pay the Wi-Fi that I'm using, pay my mobile data, pay my water bills, pay everything, pay the tuition fees. Can't you do same in Ghana? If you, which means it's the problem has to do with what change of mentality. If you decide to say, you know what, from now on, I'm not going to shy away from doing any of such jobs in Ghana, if that is my means of earning a living, then you are free. So that is where we actually need to free ourselves. Some people may argue, okay, but you do this to earn dollars, you do this to earn euros, but the value is the same. If I earn euros here, I'm going to buy things here in euros. So the salary, even if I'm earning, let's say, over 2,000 per month, if I'm earning, let's assume over 2,000 per month, and I'm to take off my rent, take off everything, take off all my living expenses at the end of the month, I'll be left with something that will be nothing here. All right. Which means somebody, if you were to do a similar hustle in Ghana, you definitely not gonna get the I mean the exact amount in euros if you were to convert your money in euros, but whatever that you earn based on the prices of things in Ghana, you even be much more comfortable than somebody living abroad. You get it? So we just have to wake up and if you get opportunity to travel, fine. I'm not saying don't explore, right? But don't just make up your mind that you cannot make it unless you travel. So what if I showed you something like this? Okay, where you see me actually, they say this particular day, it was in a retirement home. Okay, I went and washed plates. And after washing plates, I was tired. Uh, I think I went on break and then I was bored and I took this selfie. Okay. From now on, I probably would start posting some of these things on my social media, and it's important that we all do this, especially those living abroad do this so that those back home will actually understand the realities here. I, I honestly don't consider this as suffering, okay? Because even when I was home, I used to help my dad in the farm. So probably holding the hoe to farm and going to wash plates. But just that if I were asked to wash plates in Ghana, to be honest with you, I would shy away from that because I wouldn't want to be looked down upon. Helping my father in the farm is our own farm. I have no problem. But if I had to go and wash plates for somebody, especially as a man, you will look down upon in Ghana. That's what you actually do. So I don't see this as suffering because some people actually do this as their career and they're actually making it big time here. So, like I was saying, you could actually create your own firm, your own restaurant, or do something in Ghana. You know, here it probably might be hard for me to even create my own restaurant or start my own restaurant, but it's very, very feasible in Ghana with just little capital. So, you see the African advantage. So, what if I told you, for instance, that um, if I, in Ghana, for instance, when people carry bags, okay, and they walk in the streets, we call them tayayo, okay, and that is one of the most frowned upon jobs, right? But can you imagine I wear suits and I do a similar thing here in France? Or I used to do right now, I no longer do that, but I used to do that while I was even still schooling. Sometimes in a hotel, let me just show you a picture so that it will not just be like I'm ranting. So let's look at this particular one here. All right, this is actually a picture of me. At one point I worked in a particular several hotels actually doing this. Okay, the lift is broken, and then because the lift of the hotel is broken, like they need somebody to carry the bags up and down. So when clients are about to go down, you need to go up, carry their bags down. You actually break your back doing this. Sometimes on the seventh floor, eighth floor, but you carry the bag on your head. Heavy, heavy, heavy suitcases like this. Can you imagine? You know, just imagine carrying heavy, heavy, heavy suitcases like this up and down the stairs. If you were to do this in Ghana, or will you want to do it? If you go to my social media, I would not like to paint this image. I have to start doing that because that's why I'm making this video. We have to start being realistic and actually encourage our people back home to do. I'm not saying this is bad. Like I said, to me, this is not suffering, but we shouldn't frown upon doing some of these things back home if we really want to make money. Because if we can come here and do all this, why frown upon jobs like this back home? Let me show you yet another picture. All right, this is still me with yet another bag. You know, I don't know why I was taking these pictures, but I was just like, let me take them so that one day I will have, because if you don't keep records of your journey, then you cannot actually tell people how it is. This is still me. Sometimes in the hotel, for instance, this is still me in yet another hotel. I was a luggage keeper. And I remember this particular day I was working night shift. So you stand like a security guard on your feet for like 8 to 9 hours, sometimes 7 hours at least. And then, when people need their luggage out, fortunately, this particular day in this particular hotel, the lift was not broken, but you go, with the trolley and push their luggage out, for them. Or when the clients come, you send their luggage in. The most painful part of this was just for me standing on my feet for hours. It's very, very painful. But you are dressed wearing a suit. So in Ghana, when people wear suit, we think this is, because of the colonial mentality, our local fabrics, we feel like that is not, civilized. You need to put on the suit. Actually, here, imagine wearing the suit to go and do these kind of jobs. For us, when somebody, that's why people can even scam us by just wearing suit, because as soon as the fellow puts on suit, we salute him and respect him. and we will denigrate somebody that is putting on a traditional dress. So it's about time we just start loving ourselves more. Don't you think so? Let's continue. So, um, I don't even know what else can I say about the realities of living Africa. Okay, other dark sides of actually living abroad. There are many, but other things that you could also think of is, let's say, loneliness. You know, there are many people here, for instance, who masturbate 24/7 because it's hard to get a partner for some people, you know, and it's hard to explain, because it's just hard to explain, I don't want to really say much about this topic, but sometimes people find themselves lonely without a partner, especially a lot of foreigners or immigrants actually face this because people kind of I don't know how to say it, because here there is good social life. I'm not going to deny that you can go to the cinema. Those who want to club, they can go to the clubs. Somebody like me, I don't go to the club, and I don't even think going to the club is. I mean, is the right. The club is actually the right place to meet a partner. All right, and I don't have any issues with finding a partner. As a matter of fact, I'm currently dating. Maybe very soon I'll bring my woman to come and say cuckoo hi to you. So yeah, but people, this is actually a real problem. Sustaining. I mean, finding sustainable and long lasting relationships and building strong friendship and all of that is actually hard. Many people are hit so hard in terms of socialization and everything. Another thing probably would be lonely. So I've already talked about loneliness. Would be, let's say, not feeling at home and not feeling like you belong here. They always say, if you any fear, as they say in Akan in Ghana. Home is home. So when you are here, sometimes you feel lonely, uh, and sometimes you don't feel like you belong because, as a matter of fact, uh, we have racism anywhere at all outside Africa. You'll find racism. Even in Africa, we have what we call tribalism. But that is not like we don't discriminate because of color. People might discriminate based on your origin, your ethnic. It's still like some form of racism, but not. It's nothing at all. We don't know anything about colorism. Okay, for instance, I am a bit light. My my younger sister is very dark because my mother is very dark. Father is a bit light, so I'm probably light. I have brothers who are very, very dark, brothers who are like me. We don't know anything about like color or whatever, and we find beauty in whether you are dark, brown, whatever, white, whatever that you are, we don't know that. But just imagine today being discriminated upon or against. I don't even want to talk more about this because to me, this is something that I am not hate. I don't hate, and I don't have hate in my heart. So I don't even want to talk about this because the more I talk about this, it's just like I'm giving some relevance to it. So I just act like it doesn't even exist. And what I know for a fact is that if I feel like I'm being mistreated and I'm not comfortable here, that is why I'm trying to even point out the good side of living in Africa to let you understand that if you are a black person living abroad and you feel like you are not treated fairly, then why not go back to where you come from? Me, if somebody tells me go back to Africa, go back to where you're coming from, I will be more than glad and going back to where I come from, right? And I know my history, I know my culture, I love myself. And that's one thing you should know. You should learn your history, your culture, and you should learn to love yourself and the people that look like you. All right. Not to say you should hate upon other people, but treat the more we love ourselves, then even the universe would be against those who try to hate upon us. But when you don't love yourself and you think somebody would ever love you, especially somebody that doesn't even look like you, then I don't know. Like, so for me, I don't want to emphasize much on racism, but it really exists. Discrimination in terms of job, you could be fired, you could go through any kind of things. Some people actually to the point of losing their lives. We see it like in the US, for instance, where like a racist cops could just gun down somebody. We see it everywhere. So could just gun down a black person, for instance. This is extreme and it exists in different forms. I've been a victim. I don't want to talk about that like I'm saying because to me, I don't give importance to that. If I feel like I'm not comfortable, I'm not trying to say everybody is racist and is just hostile. It's not like that. These are realities. Unless you go through it, you'll not understand. Me, I've lived through it. Yeah, I mean, if I feel like I always say, if I feel like at a particular point in time I'm just mistreated, then I should go back to where I come from. That is, it's as simple as that. So I don't want to talk more about that. That is a reality. The next thing would be what, let's say, burden from family and loved ones. When you come here, everybody thinks because of the illusion that the grass is just greener at the other side. Many people are going to count on you for money and everything. And sometimes it's just hard to let them understand that, the grass is not really greener at the other side. As a matter of fact, it's up to you to make the grass greener wherever you are, whether you are over there, back home, or abroad. So when you come here, you have like dependency on you increases. You have a lot of people expecting things from you, especially from family, and that pressure weighs so much on your shoulders because you have your own career, you have your own ambitions and things that you wish to accomplish. But now you have other people requesting for money from you. And sometimes you try to let them, even you try to even sometimes explain for them to understand, but they act like they don't even want to understand because they don't want they feel like if they should understand your story, then it'll be morally and right for them to ask you for money. So sometimes you even feel like they are ungrateful and all of that. But these are also realities of you living abroad because we have the illusion that the grass is greener at the other side. And sometimes we actually feel entitled that people just have to help us because they are abroad. But we don't even know whether these people are sleeping outside, whether these people are jobless, whether these people are even able to pay their own bills. But these are some of the challenges. And like I said, simply because the cost of living could be very, very high, you know. I could go on and 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 on, but I think I've said enough about the challenges living abroad. Please let me know in the comment section. Give your own personal account if you are living abroad. If you are back home, let me know if what I'm saying has changed your perspectives about living abroad and whether or not you still want to continue your dream of living abroad or pursuing a career abroad or anything. Like I said, all opinions are welcome. Thank you so much for watching once again. And please remember to subscribe, hit the like button, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.